Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
Look, 2020 has proven to be the year of many things, and the same for 2022. But if you're a small business, this could also be the year you switch to a better payroll. Gusto wasn't just built for small businesses, it was built for the people behind them. Their online payroll is easy to use. Gusto can automatically calculate paychecks and file all your payroll taxes, which means you have more time to run your business. Plus, Gusto does way more than payroll. Gusto helps with time tracking, health insurance, 401ks, onboarding, commuter benefits, offer letters, access to HR experts. You get the idea. It's super easy to set up and get started. If you're moving from another provider, they can transfer all your data for you. It's no surprise that 94% of customers are likely to recommend Gusto. And here's the best part. Because you're a listener to this podcast, you get 3 months totally free. All you have to do is go to gusto.com/compliance. That's gusto.com/compliance. I'm telling you, you're going to love Gusto. Get started today. The Daily Compliance News for November 5th, 2021, the Vaccination Rate Edition. And we begin with that story, the success of Tyson Foods in getting over 96% of 60,500 workers to get the coronavirus vaccine quickly. They were able to do this by mandating this for their workforce. Interestingly, most of the unvaccinated workforce said that when the company did this, it made the decision easy for them because they had to do it. And a added side effect was that many people's families who had unvaccinated family members or children also got vaccinated. So huge win that shows that employers can lead the vaccination effort, and this will probably become more ubiquitous with the new Biden administration's orders. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Mingy Sun reporting, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler says the crypto market won't mature without oversight. In remarks to a conference hosted by the Securities Industry and Financial Markets Association, said that the regulators in the form of the SEC will be very active in bringing the digital currency market under investor protection framework as the Biden administration increases its scrutiny of cryptocurrencies. Next up, in a very sobering article from the Washington Post, it said that the Rust tragedy, where there was a killing, or rather a shooting, which led to a death of an employee on a movie set. It detailed the list of missteps and inadequate safety procedures engaged in on the set, and really demonstrated that it's never one thing which causes a catastrophic failure. It's a series of small steps. And these are detailed in the article, as many of employees have come forward to talk about their safety concerns. Indeed, they had a large number of employees actually leave the set because of safety concerns. And finally, from Reuters comes a story about how endemic corruption can literally destroy a government, as the African National Congress had its worst election defeat since the ending of apartheid, as South Africans who are sick and tired of the endemic corruption which has occurred under the ANC literally revolted at the polls. The South African governing party took only 46% of the vote in municipal elections, the party's worst outcome since the institution of white minority or the end of white minority rule. It's the first time it's dropped below, their support has dropped below 50%, and it sets up the possibility that the ANC could lose in further elections. And it really demonstrates that a population does not want their government engaging in corruption, and the South African National Congress has a long way to go to not only clean up its act, but also to bring trust back to the electors. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.